Good evening. It's Monday, January the 4th, 2021. Diane Hands bringing you Book for the Day. Human Crossings, 9 stories about refugees. And today, I'd like to start to read you a story entitled A Treasure, which was written by Clara Heuvel. And this is just a little bit about Clara. Being brought up by a German mother, a Dutch father, and a French grandmother has meant that I have always been intrigued by different cultures and languages. Having a sincere interest in people and the problems they routinely face whilst dealing with the government or other institutions motivated me to read criminal law at Utrecht University and graduate cum laude. During my studies, I researched whether the non-refoulement principle was breached when southern European states were sending asylum seekers clearly in need and navigating treacherous stretches of international water back to North African states, such as Libya. In 2014, I spent a year working for the Dutch Immigration Office, during which time I interviewed many people seeking asylum. From 2017 onwards, I witnessed the other perspective firsthand as I appealed for asylum seekers at administrative courts when their applications were being rejected by the Immigration Office. During this time, I became more aware of the judicial, social, and emotional problems they were facing. As legal counsel, I always sought to advise refugees to the best of my ability. With this story, I hope to give readers a sense of the legal obstacles refugees face whilst trying to build a new life in Europe. They were all seated in the back of the van. One woman with a child was sitting next to him. He remembered from stories of friends who had already taken the Torag route that it could be immensely dangerous. The van could be spotted by soldiers and the drivers could be turned over to the police or even shot. The road felt stony. The ride cost him about $5,000. He hoped it would be worth it, since he had borrowed the money from his cousin. He tried to close his eyes and doze off for a little while, but the heat of the van and his thoughts wouldn't let him relax. Next stop, Tripoli, one of the guys next to the driver shouted. The loudness of that voice woke him up immediately. What time was it? It felt as if he had only just gone to sleep. The van stopped. They almost hit the plate that divided the driver from the passengers. Thanks for the ride, bro, Obabu said, jumping off the back. You're welcome, bro. The van drove off. Now he had to look for a place to live. He didn't know where to go. He was new here. He also had to look for a job to save for his up-and-coming journey to Italy. He knew that was going to cost another $3,000. And that's where we end the story for today. And we'll find out tomorrow what happens to Heuvel in Tripoli. Human Crossing's 9 Stories About Refugees is found on Amazon, and it can also be found on our Facebook page. So until tomorrow, Diane Hands. Good night.